All right, here we go again. Buckle up, rough roads ahead. And so it's still running when I get off, hoping to catch me saying something. Yeah, I'll let you tomorrow. So when you have a lot of people moving, you never know what it is. It could be financial distress, right? So we don't know where we are. I mean, there's a lot of people moving out. Now, thank you, Larry. But it could just be, you see sad faces while they're moving. Again, that's something you can pick up on. Right. So heal that. Thank you, Larry. Just wish I didn't have this pain. I'd just be on top of the world. So I got the new shoes coming. Hopefully the new inserts are better. At this point, my shoes aren't really worth a shit. I bought two pairs, a waste of money. I don't know. My body changed. I guess when I got the massages, I need stiffer shoes. Right. Again, if I was with a woman the whole time, this wouldn't happen. Right. They knew it because they operate people and they get married and then it doesn't work. Right. And they operate someone else. They don't get married. They keep them single and it works. Again, they're getting paid for killing somebody, causing pain, that kind of shit. They'll end in hell. Again, I was the person. Again, I'm not crazy. I really am the friend of God. So there's an angel called the friend of God. It was funny how it all unfolded. God showed me that it wasn't bullshit. Like Hashem knows how to wake you up. Right. Like again, Hashem and his spiritual thing. Hashem showed me who I was before ever presenting things. Right. Like to me, it's just being me kind of deal. Again, that's an inside thing, right? I'm just being me, right? But then he would point out like nobody would do this. Nobody would do this for me. Nobody would do this for that person. You're the only person I can trust to do it. It's easy to do charity when you're in a charitable system. Right? And to the people that are the in charity, do charity for somebody that's out charity is very difficult. Which means they're not in any system where they're allowed to receive charity. Again, there's a lot of illusion on this planet. Hashem told me that some people are made poor just so some fake religious person come along and help them. The scam. So Satan makes a certain number of people poor, so you believe you're actually doing what you're supposed to, and then you won't help that one person. Well, I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people. Thank you, Larry. Yeah, so I'll explain that. I've been hearing all morning like rounds chambering, and I'm not like having illusional thoughts or anything like that. So when you're a psychic, things take on other forms to help you with the psychic reading. So like I didn't even think it even started last night. Like lock my door, and I lock my door all the time, but all of a sudden it sounds like a round chambering. Right. I changed out. I changed out my fixture that I mount my phone to on this rig that I'm wearing. Right. Sound like a round chambering. So that just keeps coming up. So really, like I should have heard. I should hear that. Because I did see Elon Musk. I did see U.S. healthcare. Again, it doesn't mean it's Elon Musk, right? So there might be a psychological operation going to cause somebody to be a mass shooter, and maybe it looks like it's going to effectuate. But I don't see any other information yet. Thank you. Yeah, here it is. Like I'm looking at my fire in their head. Right, something might be leading them around. Like when I woke up, and I know I was right on a mark, because I'm riding my bike. I'm up on 38, the interchange of 38, 76, I think. Or actually, I was on 76. Right, I think it was. I can't remember the other road. Right. Mount Laurel, Mount Holly. Right. And there was a vendor doing something, filling up vending machines or you can't be living by a voice in your head. I was practicing my pontifications. And he looked over at me and he kind of smiled and he shook his head, yeah. So there's people that do that, and it's just innocuous, right? But again, when evil tries to take over a person, and people that look good are evil when they try to take over a person. Some people that are good will try to diminish a person so they can will. Again, people have metaphysical presence, and they will them down and will them to do things they shouldn't do. So uh, maybe part of it, right? And it might be a voice as part of it. Thank you, Larry. And of course, what I just did was I just got myself off my Wi-Fi. So we might have like a shooter type thing developing psychically. It's starting to appear. It hasn't completely appeared yet. So you could heal that, try to heal that before it happens. Now, when you heal it, you can't say, if you wish harm on the person that's going to do it, they may actually have to do it to have themselves harmed. Ah. So you have to be careful. You have to actually heal it where it doesn't exist. You have to heal the crook, or at that point, a possessed person healed. Right. Yeah, healed. When I said healed, Hashem was in it, so I have to heal it. I've received notice to heal it. Right. Yeah, Rafa. Thank you, Lance. Thank you, Mary. Well, like you're trying to make it about me, like you're going to be shot. Well, the chance of me being shot here in Overland Park, I spend most of the time just right here. I doubt it, unless my neighbor goes crazy. Right. So they try to make it about me versus, so it's just to block the psychic view. Man, I wish I could figure out how to make this not hurt. Well, when I woke up this morning, like when I'm sleeping, I'm starting to relax at night. So none of this is really really bother me all that much. But when I wake up, it starts all over again. So I got, it might just be some tension that I can get rid of with something, but just not good. I'm kind of walking good, and I might just be inflamed where I have to become. A lot of times, when I had something, I just have to come uninflamed, and then it goes back to normal, right? But again, it's a long time ago before I had no pain. So again, y'all should have just stayed away from me. I told you not to do this to me. Nah, they heard me. Stalked me everywhere. Right. Whew. So I'm trying to lose weight too. So I am walking for that purpose. Now I gained a lot of weight. I got to drop some pounds. Right. I was hoping to come off the blood pressure medicine too, if I could. If I can, I can't. But right. As I told the doctor, I said I know how to drop it. I just have to get out there and walk. And he said, "No, get out there and walk." And then he gave me the prescription. Right. And I don't know. I mean, who knows what they do? Right? It went real high. I've never seen it stay up high. Like usually, I'm okay. In a few hours if it's high. Right. It's just something weird. But again, they could have been feeding me something. Who knows? Sick people. Well, it's about time I take my Gatorade. Yeah, it's got to be. My throat's kind of raw. Got to be allergens out there. I might actually have to turn the AC on in here. Right. I almost did it last night because I have to get it below 70 degrees, and I couldn't. I used to sleep with the AC all the time when I was in Santa Fe. There's a bunch of layoffs going on in Springfield, Illinois. They're blaming like the Biden policies. Right. Income and property and corporate income taxes are real high. Thank you, Larry. So we need to start tracking. Make sure get your business connections, your treasury economic connections. They have to have like a website, like Christy Noam. Right. Now, does Homan have one yet? I know. Mike Banks does. Well, people, and again, I like it too, but I use it. But they like to have that connectivity to the government person, no matter what they say, right? Again, if there is a threat, if you put your own stuff up, then like they'll threaten directly to you, and then the government people will see it. Right? If you don't have your own, they might do it to somebody that's an unaffiliated or an old page that nobody sees, and then we miss the threat. Right. So it's always good to have a profile, an active profile. Right. Thank you, Larry. Now they're killing your dogs, 5,000 pounds of pet food recall due to salmonella risk. Well, I got to make an appointment. That'll be tomorrow. I got to get this one cyst removed. It's an easy one. Right. So, with the other nations countering tariffs, I don't know what that's going to do to the market. It's definitely not going to help us calm fears. Look at words. Well, just think about the SEC again. Did you study it? Is it legal? Again, I'm trying to study it now. Well, again, if it's kind of like a mixed bag. If it actually limits investigations of everyday people, like as long as you don't deep state it, there's nothing wrong with a political connection, a political appointed connection, right? Well, the Reagan theory that government needs to be limited. If that's what you're going to actually do, that's fine, right? Make sure it's that, right? I mean, no special favors and stuff. But yeah, I realize that happens. So, it probably already actually, it already happens. Well, they're saying that the lower level Polish person could initiate, but the people in the political appointee position could quash it and say no, right? But now, prior to the investigation, they have to notify the person in the political position, right? Which, if they do it right, that's fine. Now you can't. That's going to come back to bite you. You can't put people like. Are you going to fire them? They put on leave because, like 6 months ago, they went through diversity training. Now you got to make sure somebody's not setting you up, right? It's only a 2-day training, but it was voluntary. I mean, diversity type training is always in the government. It's even been there when Donald Trump was there. No Fear Act is kind of that also, right? Oh shit, you could be in violation of the No Fear Act. Oh shit. Right, the Notification and Federal Employee Anti-Discrimination and Retaliation Act of 2002. I thought it was ludicrous because they were doing it to me. And they just passed the act and they did it to me. No, it doesn't matter. They track me, and wherever I go, if I try to start a life, they'll mess it up. Right? I mean, I'll pay the person, they'll threaten them, they'll do whatever's required. Right? Yeah, there's a No Fear Act. You may be in violation of that. Now, I don't know who would enforce it at this point. Right? I don't know what the statute of limitations are. It's the No Fear Act. It seeks to discourage federal managers and supervisors from engaging in unlawful discrimination and retaliation. It is properly called the No Fear Act, and is also known as Public Law 107174. At a certain point, if you don't enforce these things, they could sue you for not enforcing it. Thank you much. President Bush signed it into law on May 15, 2002. That exact day, they were fearing me. All right, I'm sure of it. Thank you, Larry. So you're probably in violation of the No Fear Act, and again, like who's going to investigate it? Because the FBI is not going to be allowed to, Justice Department's not going to be allowed to. Right? But at a certain point, they can not only sue you for violating it, they can sue you for not enforcing it. That's a separate lawsuit. And at this point, they would probably say it's malfeasance. So a court could have a finding that you are culpable for not investigating something, which again, once the government changes hands, even if the House of Representatives changes hands, there could be an independent, because I don't think they can do an independent counsel now. Right? Thank you, Larry. Well, I don't know if this carries any penalties. I don't see. Other than, financial, civil. Thank you, Larry. No, it's too late for a lot of it. If they rescind it, if they get enough votes to rescind it, which I don't know if they would. Right. Thank you, Larry. It doesn't cover anything that's already happened. Mostly it speaks about civil remedy. Apparently, it was a movie. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, I was trying to call the postal service today, but I guess there's nobody there. It's fine. It's Sunday, but actually, I was trying to call UPS. Actually, because I upgraded to shipping above SurePost, but it's saying the delivery day is still like way down the road and doesn't make any sense because it's here already. No, they're not testing anybody. They're trying to harass somebody because they're crooks. Actually, it's over here probably. Saying it's going to be delivered Wednesday. Crazy weather, 65 degrees. That's been happening. It gets warmer than what they predict. It's been happening a lot. That's weird. It doesn't make any sense. Let me look on one of the other ones. Trying to find my other weather apps. Yep, it says 64. This one makes more sense. Boy, I've been waiting for this kind of weather. But tomorrow is going to be 63, but it's going to drop right down to 26 at night. And then bring in some chill. That kind of. But it could change. We're not going to see nice weather for a bit. I guess the last week of the month it starts warming up. We'll see where it goes. All right, the pump presses are set to rise. I thought that was going to happen. So again, I don't. I'd like to hear some policy, what you all believe is going to happen and what you're going to be able to do. Right. I guess Driggs is trying to calm everybody down. All right. Investigations. Reading the FBI Agents Association thing. Message. Okay, Driggs is trying to. Yeah, he said it. He fired them though. Why do you say that? Or is that a bullshit statement? No, I guess Emily Bove actually fired him, or whatever her name is. Right. I can watch. Well, who's Emily Bove? You need to get her under control. Well, she's messing everything up. You can't defend these firings. Right. Well, because you have to do an investigation before you can even begin it. Right. Or not Emily, Emile Bove. Or wait. Oh, is that somebody that Trump put in there, or is it Emily? Who is this person? So your attorney, Trump needs to stop this. It's going to be a mess. Just like it's in a government. I thought it was a government dude. No, it's Trump's attorney that he put in there. This is horrible. It's even worse than I can imagine. I wish I was one of those agents. They're going to be rich. Well, I don't know if you're going to go to jail for it, at least until the Democrats take back over. But I mean, it's Trump's attorney. I mean, what do you think a court's going to do? I thought it was some career guy or gal. I thought his name was Emily Bove. I thought it was a career dude that knew what they were kind of knew what they were doing, so I didn't understand what they were doing. I'm like, what are they setting Trump up? No, you gotta get that guy under control. Right, because he's like an opposing attorney. You can't. Oh my God, it's dirty as hell. He's one of Trump's attorneys that fought against these people in court. He can't do that. Right. No, he can't sit on it. He's too close to it. He's got to recuse. They don't got anything to worry about, I'll tell you that. They're going to be rich. No, you can't do that. That's even worse. Like, I thought it was a career government person that fired them. It's actually somebody that was Trump's attorney. You're not going to beat the civil case. He's not even really allowed to sit on that. I know you don't agree to what I say about recusing, but he's too close to the other side of that case. He's acting deputy attorney general, but I didn't know he was Trump's former defense lawyer. Does Pam Bondi even exist anymore? Well, he doesn't know what he's doing. Or maybe he does, but they're going to be rich. No, it's horrible. It's worse than I thought. It's actually Trump's former attorney. He can't sit on these decisions. He has an adversarial relationship with these people in court. Right. Well, who knows what the court's going to order? They can't investigate you, I guess. Right. But they can, pay them and tell you to give their job back. Oh. So they can end up, getting $100,000 on their job back, or maybe more. I don't know. Correct. I guess that's not rich, but right. But who knows if it goes to a jury, they can order him they can give him $1 million. Trump's not liked in D.C. Correct. I mean, Matt Fogg got $4 million. Or actually got it more. I think he got another case. Right. Oh my God. The person that fired them was Trump's attorney. I'm sure they didn't clear it with Pam Bondi at this point. Was he gonna appoint that guy instead of Bondi now? The guy's a lunatic. No, Trump's going to have trouble off of that. It's worse than I thought. You get Pam Bondi in there? No, he can't. He can't sit on their firings. So how many judiciaries in there? So Driggs didn't do it. Bove did it. He just did what Bove told him. Right. Wait. No, Bove's not. He's not allowed to sit on that. You have to recuse. No, they're going to at least get money. Now you're going to have a series of court losses. It's horrible. I mean, I think Elon went to your heads. This is not private sector, and the question is whether Elon gets sued for all of it. It's still up in the air, right? For his firings at X. I mean, he's sued. The question is, do they prevail, or is he settle out of court, or what? No, I thought just some career employee. I thought it was somebody named Emily too. Emily Bove. No pun intended. Right. No, it's Trump former attorney that he threw into the Justice Department. Meanwhile, Pam Bondi's sitting on the side. Oh my God. Got no idea what he's doing. Well, he can't fire them. If it was his idea, he can't fire them. He has to recuse. And somebody else has to do it. No, it's obvious that he's Trump's attorney. He had an adversarial relationship with them in court, and he's firing them. This is all. You know, you're going to just be encumbered the whole freaking 4 years if you make it that far. Right. It's going to be like the first administration, but worse, probably. Like I said, Trump's not immune from everything. Plus, you don't want to create cases where you need to move forward on other things. Like, while you're trying to articulate your case in immigration issues, then you have to fight all these other people at the same time that didn't need to be. He's firing the people that he sat across the table from in court. I mean, what the fuck? Is he even a real attorney? Right. I mean, what attorney would do that? Like, I thought they were setting Trump up. He's just got to be an idiot. I mean, they're going to get money at a minimum. There's no way you can articulate that as being lawful. Again, it's not your money, it's government money, but somebody might take off on another case. I don't know what the statute of limitations of that would be. You know, I don't think a judge can order it. I guess a judge could say that he wants that it fits under the special counsel and subjects investigation. I had no idea that was Trump's attorney. I even thought it was a woman. But Driggs tried to say that it was his idea. It's not his idea. Right. But he's the one that fired him. Right. I guess his name's Driggs. Driscoll, whatever it is. No, Trump's attorney fired the FBI agents. His former attorney, he can't do that. He can't even do it if it was for good reason. Somebody else is supposed to sit on it. Right. I believe at this point, the Office of Special Counsel could get involved. I mean, it's just kind of blatant. Right. Like I said, I don't know. They might have wiretaps up by now. I don't know. No, not Jack Smith. There's somebody else who has a permanent position. In fact, he can bring charges against Bove. There's somebody in the U.S. government right now that if he takes the case and the court allows it, right, and they might just, you know, even if it's kind of one-off because of what's going on, he could actually bring criminal charges against Bove. There's no doubt that it's criminal what he's doing. Now, you know, as far as the president pardon him, I guess after he prosecutes him, he may be able to. I don't think the president can pardon him. Right. But maybe he can. That's kind of weird. Right. Court's going to have to decide what to do with that. No, Bove broke the law. There's no doubt. Bove broke federal law. Like I said, Bove has a life after. Like, Trump could give a shit. He's 80 or whatever it is. Right. We're going on 80. Right. I don't know what the statute of limitations are on something like that. Maybe only 2 years or something. I have to look. Right. Somebody says 5 years. Again, it may not be 5 years. Like, if you piss off the American public, you'll all be gone in 2 years. I mean, as far as congressmen and senators that are running, I think it's more likely that Congress would shift. Right. I mean, it's kind of almost natural that that happens. I don't know if it's possible. I'm just saying. It's possible. Probable. Probable. The thing says probable at this point. Really, they can start prosecuting at that point. Could the president quash it? I don't know. Again, they can impeach the president for quashing it. But again, I guess the Senate would hold out. Kind of a weird situation. I'm sure the judges won't be happy. Which means this. If you piss off the judges by thwarting checks and balances and being irresponsible about it, they'll rule against you on every freaking case you bring. You'll never get anywhere. Right. What you're also doing is risking your pardons. The judges may just say enough is enough, and say it's abuse of the law. I mean, both parties. So I guess every time they try to prosecute, the president can pardon. Not sure about it. Right, because we're talking about the Office of Independent Counsel, Special Counsel, and they're there as a watchdog agency. Yeah, the courts may quash it. They'll say that you what you're actually doing. Like if the special counsel brings charges against Bove, and then he's your former attorney. So again, the court's not stupid. They may say, no, it's an abuse of the law, a pardon process. Right now, Bove can be prosecuted. I don't know if it could happen or not, but right now he can be prosecuted. I mean, this is fact. I don't know why you didn't bring Pam Bondi somewhere into the process and get Mr. Clown out of there. Because it's clownish. Now, the courts are going to rebel against what you're all doing, I believe. They're only going to allow so much. You may actually end up, a lot of those pardons may get scrutinized by federal courts, including the Supreme Court, including Biden's. Because like I told you, be careful, because the court could see it. The only way the court could come against it is to say it's a violation of the constitutional principle of checks and balances. 100%. Well, you're pretty blatant. I mean, he's your former attorney. It's not that hard to figure out. Well, essentially, it's a violation of law. And Bove could be convicted very easy on it. So the court will look at that and then say, but you're going to pardon him, right? Oh, okay. And we're supposed to allow that because now you've thwarted checks and balances is a higher principle than pardon. So they're not going to, they most likely will not accept the pardoning of Bove if he gets charged. Because again, remember, it's not just a pardon. What you're doing is trying to overcome checks and balances, especially with a watchdog agency that's independent, which makes it even worse. They'll say it's an unlawful pardon. because it violates constitutional principle of checks and balances. Well, what am I say about Biden too? Agreed. There might be a need down the road to create a statute that allows the court to appoint a special counsel. I don't think that exists. I mean, it is in probably other nations. No, I mean, it's ludicrous. It's embarrassing. Makes it look like a banana republic. Well, I'd say the same thing of Biden and people. No, he's making a mess. No, I'm sure he believes Trump can pardon him from anything. But again, the court is going to look at that. It's not tested, any of it. Even Biden's pardons haven't been tested. Like, Pam Bondi realizes this type of language. I don't know what Bove realizes, if anything. I'm serious. Doesn't make any sense. Now, if I didn't know it was Trump's attorney, I'd have said no, even louder. You can't. It's going to take some time, but it'll end up in court. But again, I don't know what the special counsel's doing and whether he has authority in that case. Well, he can charge, and you try to pardon, he can take it to the Supreme Court and say it's a violation of what I was saying you would do. Again, I'm not giving them new ideas. I mean, it's obvious. I said it about Biden. Well, he's preemptively pardoning people in his administration. There was possibly justification, but the question is, are they allowed to thwart checks and balances? Like, do they have to go through it and then sue and then say, yeah, that was a retaliatory prosecution? Right. And then the court throws it out. Oh. Thank you, Larry. So there may be no mechanism to preemptively pardon people in your administration or in your political circle, because it might be a violation of checks and balances, separations of powers. Right. So again, it's making it worse because the Supreme Court and the courts are just going to go nuts over this. It doesn't make any sense. It's obvious what you're doing. You figure Trump could pardon him, but I think you're figuring wrong. I mean, none of that's tested yet. Nothing went in front of the Supreme Court to say whether those pardons are lawful, political pardons are lawful. So he's going to do what Biden did. Right. But yeah, probably keep him though. But again, it's going to be real strange. I don't think the courts will allow it. That's why I told you to go slow on that stuff, because I don't think that even the stuff that you did is lawful. But we'll see where it goes. Right. Now, I don't know if they could do anything about the January 6 ones, but they might just lump it together and say, these are attempts to thwart checks and balances. Again, the more you do, like you're doing right now, in the FBI and the DOJ, the more likely the court will say it's all the same thing and lump it together. Well, it's actually almost like retaliatory pardons. And I mean, it doesn't exist, but when you get to the Constitution and checks and balances, a larger question exists. I'm just telling you. I mean, the court told you had power and you weren't prosecutable, but again, there's limitations on everything. Essentially, that's your former attorney. I can't believe you did it that way. Makes no sense. Because it has an appearance of impropriety right from the beginning. Right. You don't know if Biden's pardons will actually make it either. And you're trying the same process. But I mean, it's getting worse. Because what's happening is you're trying the same process before any reason for it. Like, before there is a reason for a pardon, I'm sure he's doing this because he thinks you're going to pardon him if anything happens. Well, the court's not going to stand for that. The court may just get rid of all the pardons. Again, your idea is that you're going to point to the Biden pardons. Right. Court might throw them out with yours. Again, you're in a political mind instead of a governing mind. The political mind says, Biden did it, so I get to do it. The governing mind says, Biden may not be allowed to do it. Nobody's ever took it to court yet. No, he committed a felony. Bove, no doubt. I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious. With Trump having the Senate and the House and being president, he plans to. You think it'll be hard to prosecute, and if they do, he'll pardon them, right? Not necessarily. The court may get rid of all of it. None of like from Biden pardoning his people to maybe a future pardon of both, they may rule no. No, that's against the law. But no doubt. No, I mean, people your conservative judges can't let that happen. It's a breakdown of checks and balances. Like I said, they can only protect you so much. No, I thought it was something like, like that woman that moved over to Walmart, like some career DOJ slap. Right. I didn't know it was Trump's attorney. That makes it worse. I mean, it's obvious, blatant. Court's going to quash it. I don't know. Again, it's prosecutable. I don't know what the court's going to do about that, but the court will be very mad. that you're playing that game. Now, it's obvious that he was in court against him. He's Trump's attorney. You fire those agents because they took an assignment that the agency gave them. The court's going to kill you. The court can take every one of your cases and slap them down and make your attorneys jump through hoops and then go, nah, I don't want to do that. I'm telling you. You piss off the federal court, Trump will get nowhere. And he fires these people with his... I didn't know this guy was his attorney. His own private attorney he puts him in the Justice Department, and he starts firing FBI agents that their only crime is, quote unquote, I mean, not a crime. They took an assignment that they had to take. It's insane. You're going to be so beleaguered in court, it's not even going to be funny. Maybe Pam Bondi doesn't even want the job anymore because it's all Jack. Give it to Bo. Let him defend this shit. Let him stand in front of the judge. Meanwhile, you expect her to get your other programs forward. But you're all jackassing around. No, I expect possibly all pardons to be canceled from that group. Right. Maybe even January 6th. I don't know. Because this is related. You understand what you're doing, all of you? Bo just asked for all the names that investigated January 6th. Oh, it's probably one of the biggest retaliation efforts in the history of the country, and it's very public and very, presidents do this, but they don't take their own personal attorney, put him in the Justice Department, and just start doing it publicly in batches like this. But I know Bove isn't setting Trump up, but he's got to be the most ignorant idiot in the world. There's no bullshit. The judges, somebody can sue, and the judges can say and vacate all of it. Every one of those pardons for an administration person or a person related to the administration for political purpose can be thrown out. They don't have to keep it because there is a higher ethic of checks and balance. Right. So again, all those Biden pardons, all the Trump pardons may get thrown out by the court. None of it's went to court yet. Right. Well, if you have a preemptive pardon, you destroy checks and balances, especially political. Now, January 6 people aren't political, but now that Bove, who is political, is Trump's former attorney, is in the Justice Department, he starts firing all these people related to January 6, or at least asking for names. You see? So again, it's made it retaliation. So they could actually look at the pardons as retaliation. Now, that's a little bit of reach, but still. Right. Well, because now there's a relation. He's already asked for the names of all the investigators that investigated January 6th. No, you're not immune, I'm telling you. Again, you may not be able to be prosecuted until Democrats take over again, which could be in 2 years. But what I am telling you, the court will make you miserable if you do something they don't like that. Every case you bring before them, they'll slap down. At this point, what's that guy's name? Jack Smith doesn't have a worry in the world. He didn't really have a worry before, but doesn't have a worry in the world now. The court will just throw it out. Because you're playing games to thwart checks and balances. Right. Thank you, Larry. I don't think your conservative justice can help you at that point. I told you there's a point where that could happen. Now, I don't know if Clarence Thomas is in my head, but he looks like he's throwing his arms up. Nah, I'm supposed to be his friend somehow. I don't know how it works, but, you know. I'm supposed to go to law school like this. Like even after the Masters, I got went to law school. You know, I didn't get the Q, and they were killing me. You know, that's probably why I didn't get the Q. Now I went through law school real quick. Right, I'm great in school. Right, 100%. They just kept doing shit to me. I was asleep. Right. Right. No, I said that about Biden's pardons, that it could be a violation of separation of powers and an attempt to thwart check and balance. Like they may be required, like everybody else, we have to, if something happens like that, we have to redress the court later. Or address the court later, I don't know. Right. Thank you, Larry. You're lucky I'm speaking, I'm in pain all day. Right. See, address. Thank you, Larry. Right, that's the process in the Constitution. A preemptive pardon doesn't really exist. Right. So the court may require for that process to play out, where they have to be charged with something, and then they say, this is a what do they call it? A retaliatory charge. And then they could, ask to go in front of the court. And again, it's a high-level case. It would probably go in front of the court quick. Right. I mean, the problem is, again, I think he's here. I think Thomas is here in spirit. You're proving their allegations correct. Thank you, Larry. I got no idea why it was him. I mean, why would they use him? Is there somebody advising them? Like, why would you use Trump's former attorney, who was adversarial against these people in court, to fire them? No, you're not immune from things. And again, the last-ditch effort, court, the judges can say, okay, you want to screw with the system? The system will screw you. Right. I told you, stay a certain way so you don't make the judges angry. No, I haven't seen judges do it in a while, but it's happened, and it happens. Well, the judge will just shut you down. You start playing with the system. Right. They can make your cases last forever. And then at the end, shut it down and rule in favor of the other people. Just wear you out all day long. Make you jump through hoops and get nowhere. I've seen it. I mean, maybe even the January 6th pardon may have pushed them that level. But again, that wasn't totally bad until you got to this part. Because now it's connected to that part. No, I think judges can rule certain constraints on pardon if it violates another constitutional principle. So the constitutional principle of separation of powers and check and balance. Right? And then there is a retaliation issue. Just because you own the Senate, the House, and the executive branch doesn't mean that you're scot-free on retaliation. Well, the judges aren't stupid. They know you're retaliating. I told you not to make it so blatant. Well, because it's been done, and I know it's done. So what they do is you come in, and, you wait a little while, you give them a couple bad performance reviews, and then you let them go. Right? They might even resign if you give them one. but it can't be Bove. Right. Essentially, that's how George Senior Bush would do it. People back in that era. I mean, that's what they were trying to do to me. I just said, well, bye, see you. I'm not going to play that game. I played it for a little while, hoping they would, equivocate. Right. They did when the two people got internal affairs investigation, but then they started all up again. Right. I mean, it was affecting my psychology. I was like, no, it's not safe for me to be a deputy marshal while you're doing this. Correct. Again, I said you caused me not to be fit for duty, and I put my paperwork in. So you can't hit me with fitness for duty. Correct, Larry. So what I put on my retirement paperwork? Visions of grandeur. I'd already waken up and I see, having visions. I didn't put delusions of grandeur. I put visions of grandeur. Thank you, Larry. I dissed him in my retirement paperwork. I didn't write all that much. Right. Just let the doctors do it. And again, what am I supposed to tell the doctors? Right. People are following me. They still follow me, actually. And you pay a lot of money to do it. No, I mean, there was no way I could continue on in government with what you were doing. There's just no way. Right. There's no doubt that you harmed my psychology, so it was probably prudent to move on and keep the safety of everyone involved, even though you all wouldn't consider that. Even though Rick Henry didn't consider that. Even though Karen Shelton didn't consider it. Even though any of the bosses that were part of it wouldn't consider that. I considered it. I was a responsible person. Correct. Thank you, Larry. So again, it's a big mess. I can't help you with it. It's a mess. Unless you rescind everything and say, oh, we made a mistake. We didn't mean to turn off the database. I mean, really. I'm sure the judges are here. They're not going to let you thwart checks and balances. They're just not going to let you do that. That's not what pardons were meant for, and it's a violation of separation of powers. The use of the pardon is then corrupt. Correct. Again, I don't know if Biden's going to get by with it either. Nobody's. Again, you're committing crimes on a concept that hasn't been tested. Nobody's tested in federal court Biden's pardons of the people around him, his preemptory pardons. But you're now committing crimes against FBI agents and Justice Department personnel. No, these are crimes. It's retaliation. It's a federal crime. I'm not here to play games. So somebody's got to tell you the truth. All right. So you're out there committing these crimes under the concept that you'll be pardoned by Donald Trump if something goes bad. The court may throw all that pardon process out. Oh my God. Both can end up in prison. Unpardonable. Because it would be a violation of separations of powers. So every time you pardon Bo, the federal court can say, no good, vacated. I don't know if it's vacated is the right term, but you just get rid of it because it's a violation of separation of powers. I knew Biden's stuff was probably that. Right. Well, because you have to petition the court once something happens to you. Right. That's how pardon works. I mean, obviously, Nixon and all them. Right. Thank you, Larry. Now the question, I'm sure there's a lot of judges mad about the January 6th pardon. They're big boys, big girls, and they'll deal with it. But I'd hate to be on your side, your end of the courtroom with one of them sitting at the top of it. Again, when you go to their courtroom, it's not Trump world. I mean, a couple. And again, I don't know if it's really Clarence Thomas, but I'm getting this blip, and I don't know if he's directing it. Me could be directing it to the world, hoping Trump could hear him, and I'm one of the few people that receive the messages. Kind of say, I can't help you. Thank you, Larry. If this ever blows up, he can't help you. Like, even if his opinion is, even if he helps you, it's only one judge, maybe two judges at the most. Oh my God! No, Bove could go to prison for that. It's obvious retaliation. I didn't know it was Trump's attorney. I don't know why you didn't put Bondi in there. It's insane. No, they're committing political suicide. I know they're very powerful with the way the Senate and the House is structured, and the executive branch. But I don't think the judges are going to let you pardon people just to thwart the law, and again, destroy checks and balances. I think what might come out of this in the future is that we will have some sort of independent counsel that a judge can appoint, because I don't think they can. I'd have to look. I know they can appoint a special master, so special masters can do things, but they can't charge you criminally, I don't think. Right. In a lot of countries, the judges can charge. Right. In fact, some countries, I think France, the judges are the ones that charge you. And I think in some ways, that's more, again, we do separation of powers and all that. Again, this is one of the questions here. If they're like judges, not just prosecutors that have the name judge, right? But if they're really judicial mind, then that's probably a better system. Because you're not going to get charged willy-nilly then. Right? And again, I don't know, their system. Because judges are more responsible than prosecutors, generally. Thank you, Larry. I mean, we've got some wackos, but... No, I think we're going to see a pardon showdown. And Biden's pardons will go by the wayside. January 6th are legitimate pardons, but you're muddying it now. As weird as it sounds, they're like retaliatory pardons. I don't know why you didn't wait till Judge or Bondi got in there. Hey, maybe you should try to be a judge, Bondi. Get away from these people. They expect you to clean up their mess, right? I mean, I don't know what you're doing. It's crazy that you're doing this, all of you. Bove just put himself in whether it's prosecuted or not, Bove just committed a felony. There's no doubt. I mean, there's a million people you could put in there, and you put Bove in there to do this. It's Trump's. I didn't know it was Trump's attorney. I thought it was a career DOJ person named Emily. Emily Bove. I swear, I'm not joking. So again, they're blindsiding me so I can't advise you better. I didn't know it was Trump's attorney. I had been screaming for days. But it's interesting because the courts, I'm sure, are going to have something to say. Well, you're definitely going to get sued. You just installed your attorney in the Justice Department and had him fire a bunch of people. I mean, That's what it really is. Again, he doesn't have a background investigation. He hasn't been nominated. He's just in there. I'm sure the court's not going to like it. I'm sure they don't like it. That's why I'm here. I didn't know what it was earlier. I just thought it was a career. I thought they were like deep state. Because, I mean, nobody's going to do that. Anybody in their right mind wouldn't do that. I thought they were deep state setting up Trump. Because it's a mess. Who knows what the court's going to do with it? And again, you can't piss the court off. Like, you know how you appeal stuff and you're like, I got the Supreme Court. I got all these big people, in the Supreme Court that I appointed. They're going to rule for me. Well, they can only rule so far. That's already been shown. But some lower judge could sit on your case forever. And it never gets to them until you're out of office. How was that? You could have an appellate court just sit there for 3-4 years laughing at you. Well, you definitely pissed off a bunch of judges with the January 16th. And again, if you did it more responsibly, like Bondi wanted to, I think they wouldn't be as pissed off. Right. But did Bove tell you to do it that way? I don't know who this Bove guy is. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, because he's Trump's attorney. It makes the whole case against Trump and Bove much clearer, much easier. I mean, they're going to get money. He's not even allowed to fire them if it was an honest firing. It's an ethical violation. I know that doesn't go very far these days, but again, this is going to go to court. The FBI Association there might help them also. I don't know if they do representations. It's funny, I was talking about all this, right? FBI Association. No, if I was healthy, I'd be a happy man, even though I'm poor. And I'd probably be with a woman if they hadn't hit me so hard. Because like in this area, it's easier, but I'm disabled real bad now. So again, finding a woman's not easy. Right. They knew it. That's what their goals. They've done it to so many people. Well, there's not many agencies that can prosecute. You can bring a state charge, and Trump can't pardon them. Right. But I don't know if there's any state charges that work. And I don't think they can take it federal. Again, the court's going to limit all of that. Right. It's the same thing I said about some of my other cases. Because people didn't understand how the court could rule in favor of this, that, and everything. I said you have competing civil rights. Now the court could rule for one civil right or the other more. Right? So you have competing constitutional things. You're allowed to pardon, but you're not allowed to violate separation of powers. The preemptory pardons obviously violate separation of powers. But I think we're to the point where the court's going to say, you're just going to pardon him if somebody charges him. And you're violating the law, like I said, wanton violation of law. Because you believe you can't be charged. I'm sure the court's pretty pissed off. So it's actually committing a crime based upon knowing that the pardon is available. So the court may pull that rug out. or pull the rug out from underneath you. It's retaliation. It's obvious. And the question is, the court's going to wonder if you're all sending that message on purpose. Not only is it retaliation, you're making it obvious.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you.
No, I think the hard game's going to crash hard. I think in the end, most likely, again, it could go a different way, but I think Biden's pardons and this whole game with firing agents and attorneys is going to go bad. It's going to crash hard.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry. Because it just is. I mean, I'm not going to take one side or the other. I'm just going to. Actually, I'm taking your side. I was trying to get Trump not to do that. Right. And again, I guess taking both sides. Right. But you used Bo. It made it worse than what I was talking about before. Thanks, Larry. God bless you, sir. Right. Oh, shit. All this rice was wasted. Right. I was looking for my rice in the refrigerator that I cooked a few days back and sitting out, so I got to throw it away. Again, that's their curses. Especially if I start, like, saving money or something. Or, like, all that stuff I returned. And right. Because they were like, you're spending money. Right. No, I really thought it was like somebody named Emily Bovine or something. I thought it was like some career slap. So, in other words, they had no relation to Trump. That's what I thought. And I thought that it was a setup for Trump because nobody in their right mind would do this. Right. No, I think the court's going to take, somebody's going to take on the whole issue. I don't know, has anybody tried to take on the Biden pardons yet? Like, I think somebody neutral, I was thinking maybe might try that. Thank you, Larry. No, the way they would do it is they would come in and they would just, again, you can't do it now. I mean, it's obvious what your attempts were. They would just come in and make a mess around them, and most people just move on. Right. I mean, that's why I thought it was a setup of Trump. I thought it was somebody outside his entity just firing these people willy-nilly, trying to make it look, try to make it look like it's him or something like that. And it was, right. No, I mean, Trump's attorney, there's no way they're going to make a delineation of how this happened. Right. Well, I don't think Trump's going to get anywhere really, at this point. He's going to be bogged down. And he pissed off a lot of judges. All a judge has to do is sit on your stuff for years, and that'll screw you up, right? Make you jump through hoops, produce, to the court all this evidence and all these other things, and then rule against you when they feel, oh, okay, and then like you're a year from the next election. So again, I think you all misread the power that Trump has. As far as the, pardon power and the power of not having an issue, as far as not being prosecutable and things like that. Well, because if the court thinks you're taking that status and gaming with it, they could make it miserable. No, it's definitely a felony to retaliate like that. Well, I didn't know it was his attorney. So then there's a question of retaliation. Now it's an obvious retaliation. And then it was then, too. But I'm just telling you. I told you not to do it because it's not safe. And I told you pardons have historically been accepted by the court. But Biden's pardons, that type of pardon, could be seen as an attempt to thwart checks and balances. In the light of that, right, they could just, nix them. At that point, it's an unlawful pardon. And it's hard to do that, but you found a way to do it now. Well, Trump may be attempting to thwart checks and balances. But, Bove commits a wanton crime, and he'll just pardon him when he gets charged, if he gets charged. Again, there is somebody to charge it. I believe the special counsel, because it's such blatant retaliation, could go through with a case. Like I said, I didn't know the guy was... Trump's attorney was the guy firing. Oh, a big time violation. It isn't really even questionable.
I agree there.
No, they may not allow those type of pardons. Because essentially you're committing a crime with the plan to pardon a person. I mean, that's probably obvious. That makes the pardon system corrupt. And it's not just a little corrupt, it's essentially a constitutional principle that it violates. So again, a preemptory pardon of political people is probably not going to fly. Again, they may have a case against any type of prosecution, but the court might rule that they have to do it like everyone else. They have to petition the court once it happens. Well, like I said, I would get Pam Bondi in there and stop the nonsense. But I'd reverse it. I'd reverse it and say it was a mistake. You mean to shut down the database? I mean, I'm telling you. Right. And then, of course, those people are almost golden at this point. I have no idea what they thought they were doing. I think that's what they were thought, that he would just be pardoned for everything. Right. Like I told you, that's never been tested in any court. They probably will poo-poo it, if it is. Again, like Pam Bondi can come in there and say BS on the preemptory board pardons. It's a violation of separation of powers. Right. The court could say you're right. And if they get investigated and something comes of it, then they can have redress Again, if they learn of an investigation, they might have some standing.
Thank you, Lawrence.
No, Trump's attorney can't fire them. Face it, that's who it is. I mean, if it was somebody else in the Justice Department, like Emily Bovine, a career woman in the Justice Department, she could do it. It's still not 100%. I mean, it's not. You know, it still has to be tested, but he definitely can't do it. Right? I mean, he's Trump's personal attorney. Oh, you made a mess of everything. I mean, it's just going to be very difficult to do all this other work when that's happening and happened. Again, I'm sure the ICE employees were like, what? Right. They do their job, but they're like, okay, you got Elon over here calling us pieces of shit and saying we're not going to work. We're working longer hours than him in crazy weather. Been doing it my whole career. And you got Emily Bovine over here, or Emile Bovine, or Bo, whatever it is. And he's disrespecting people just getting an assignment. Right. It's not going to fly. Just wasting your time. Hopefully Trump didn't give, or what's his name, Elon didn't give you all ketamine or something. Seems like you're all stoned. Now there's no way. Why isn't this? There it goes. I don't know how you could believe that this would be lawful. I mean, I think you believe that you can pardon somebody out of the issues that could arise. But I think the court's about to move on that somewhere in the next few months, or next year, actually. Maybe even a few months. Well, actually, the FBI might need to, or somebody like the Agents Association, clarify that with the court. I know, again, there's some of them are Biden people and all that, so I don't know. But again, you have the way to handle it is to get Biden's pardons in court and have them ruled down. And then, you know, Trump and his people will learn that they can't do that. They can't just pardon people while they commit crimes in the administration. Well, again, you also have the Office of Special Counsel, and if he brings a charge, they'll say the spirit of the law is that you can't pardon that person because the House and the Senate, and the president that signed it, put it into law as a check and a balance. Right. I can learn. I don't think they're legal. And they might let like 3 stand and 5 not, or whatever the number is. Right. Depending where they stand in the bigger picture. But again, a preemptive pardon is weird. And then pardoning somebody in your administration at the point of you're committing crimes, and then you're going to commit crimes because you'll be pardoned. Again, we say that's game in the system.
Agreed, sir.
I mean, it might fly, but because pardons are pretty much universally accepted. But I'm not too sure about that. Now, I hope you weren't planning to take me out because this has signs that you were planning to take me out, so everything's going to backfire on all of you. Even things not even related to me. Right. Like I said, pay me. Get me forward to what you did to my life. Because you're blinded. There's no doubt that you're going to have to go in front of those January 6 judges. Right. Now, if you threaten them with impeachment too much, again, the judges are not going to let you cup them, quote unquote. You'll lose all your friends in the judiciary, except for some hardcore MAGA. Yeah. Some of those judges ruled in favor of Trump cases other than January 6. Right. I mean, did somebody advise Bove, or he just doing it on his own? Now, I think the court would have problems with you pardoning Bove. Right. Because it's kind of blatant. Right. Correct. And I told you, don't be blatant about things. But again, if you're planning to take me out and not pay me, God won't let you understand what I'm saying or may even hear it. Again, it's not unheard of. The judge will order them all reemployed and pay them and have the government pay them money, more than just their wages. Right. Now, the key is Obviously I was having issues because of what they were doing. There's no doubt. Right? But you can't show it too much because then they'll do it more. That's built into it also. You actually have to almost hide some of what they're doing to you, some of the damage, or they'll just come and try to kill you, right? Because they'll think, oh, he's down. Let's get him harder. So again, it's a lot of torture. It's torture. It's textbook torture. It includes the causation of pain. Just not sure how they did it. It may have just been blocking all my medical care. Right. Oh, believe me, God will get you in hell, man. Believe me. Well, it's obvious now why they never took any of it to court yet. Give you enough rope to hang yourselves. Hopefully, when the agents call OPM or employees on Monday, hopefully people on the other side of the phone have access to the database for personnel actions. Thank you, Larry. This isn't Argentina by any stretch of the imagination. I fully expect the judges will question all the pardons at this point. Well, pardons look like they're a mechanism of retaliation. Because you went there, all of you. Thank you, Larry. Well, I would, you could reverse it. That's all I can say. Say you didn't understand the process. Right. It's the only thing you can probably do. But again, I wouldn't go after them because you've already muddied the waters. Right. Right. You can reverse it, again, like you did before, that you didn't understand the process. Again, say it maybe a way that it's not as embarrassing or something. Right. Say you didn't understand how the assignment process worked. Thank you, Larry. That's the best you can do. So you didn't understand how the assignment process goes on in the FBI and DOJ. You didn't understand that these people were just doing their job as they were assigned. And you understand that now, and you reverse those orders. Thank you, Larry. Best you can do. Otherwise, you'll have a lot of court battles ahead of you. Tons of them. And you might piss the judges off. Again, remember, the last time you didn't piss the judges off, you just had like liberal judges that would had a different decision than you would want. This time you're pissing the judges off. It gets much worse at that point. Much worse. You won't get anything for it. Except for maybe a couple friendly judges here or there. And they'll make you jump through hoops, make you do all this work, and then rule against you. See, that's how they let you know that you're not happy. But again, they may not be able to prosecute you, but they can rule. How you doing? Those judges can rule in favor of the other people, and Trump will never get anywhere. You have to reverse what you're doing. Well, they're going to say you're gaming the system. And, the judges are going to think, some of them got to think, well, we took care of this guy, kind of. Right. See, you're confusing something. Right. There's just no way that I'm not like trying to harm you. I'm just telling you the truth. There's just no way that Trump's former attorney should have been near firing anybody. Because, it's like, okay, what is it really? Okay, Trump's former attorney gets put in the Justice Department, isn't cleared for the job, right? Has not been nominated to anything. He just walked in and goes, I'm firing people. And of course, it's a federal felony. Now, of course, going to say, but if I was a judge, I'd actually put it out there. And Bo believes that Trump's going to pardon him for anything, right? So again, that process, is probably going to get shot down. I think all of Biden's pardons and some of Trump's will get shot down. And then your hope of pardoning somebody that's committing a crime today, tomorrow, and next week will be, thrown out the window. Oh my God. No, it was Trump's attorney. It's horrible. Really, it's like handed to them. If you don't reverse it, they're still going to get money, and they may be ordered rehired. At this point, you could say, I'm sorry, and they come back, and you don't mess with them, and then they probably, had no reason to sue. Right. How you doing?
Dude, that's an easy way to do that.
What's that?
Be able to keep the conversation going and get you
Yeah, they got these online.
Huh?
They have these online.
Oh, little supporter?
It's called Beeland.
Oh, yeah?
You look them up on Amazon.
Are you live streaming?
I got a bunch of them. Yeah.
Yeah, live stream walking around?
Yeah. So, what's going to happen is, the longer it goes on, the worse it's going to get. You could reverse it at this point. I don't know what the union sounds like they're kind of neutral about it at this point. Again, that may be what you should do. The union, or whatever that thing is, the FBI representation there, the FBI Association. Maybe you meet with them, and you say, okay, we didn't understand the appointment process, or how a person comes into a case. I mean, obviously, it's probably bullshit, but right. But you can at least, you can act like that's it, and maybe they'll decide that that's if you reverse it, no harm done. But I'm telling you, you can't go after these people after that. You've already done the dirty. You dirtied it. Now, but you keep going. I mean, we're not going to be able to get anywhere. It's just spending their energy, time, in the court on this bullshit. I doubt we're going to get anywhere as far as Mexico, unless these essentially it's like sanctions. The tariffs are there, and they might help us with something. Well, Trump may have a proposal that he has for Mexico, and even though she's saying she's helping us, he might want some more help. And then once we, come to an agreement on that, then right. Now it's just beyond me how they could do that. Again, when you come after me and you have plans to come after me, that's a lot of times what happens. That's just part of it. Again, before it didn't happen as quick or as much because I was healthier. Right. Like when you first took the administration, I was still healthy. Correct. Like Biden got 6 months, and if you're actually thinking of coming after me, you didn't even get a month. Everything started going south on Biden about 6 months in. Right. Well, if they fire you, there's nothing you can do. But other than sue, I'm not guaranteeing you'll get anything. But looks like to me it's a pretty big case, especially since it's Trump's attorney that fired you. And he's really, comes in the DOJ first day in. Was he ever in the DOJ before? No, he's essentially Trump's attorney. Face it. Right. It'd been much better. Right. I have no idea what he was thinking. He's Trump's attorney. Thank you, Larry. No idea. I just have no idea why he would do it. It just makes no sense to me. I just thought it was a career person, and I thought they were setting Trump up because this is going to end badly. I thought it was deep state, like undercover, in the Justice Department, acting like they're Trump's buddy, right? Because that's how bad it is. Of course, going to say no. It's obvious. It's obviously retaliation. So again, you may think you got all the bases covered in prosecution for retaliation, and you might not still, right? But you definitely don't have it civilly. So if you go forward with it, the judge could order like $100,000 apiece and their jobs back. And they could say things like, if it happens again, it'll be $300,000 apiece. And I'll, contempt of court. Right? And I'll have you locked up for contempt of court. Again, that's probably where it's going. There's still the contempt of court, too. Well, until you give them jobs back, they could lock you up. Right? No jury, no defense. Judge just says, I'm doing it. There's always contempt of court also. I guess the judge can kind of prosecute you. They put you in jail, like up to 365 days or something like that? Or 364 days? What is it? Now, you messed it up. You can't even, sneakily get rid of them. Right? That's what most presidents would do. I don't know if they would do it that way, but. No, I didn't know it was his attorney. I'm like, who is this person? Yeah, it's usually something I would see pretty quick. No, some judges will just come out with it and tell you, isn't it this you as judges or as Trump's attorney just wantonly firing these people? Right. I mean, yeah, you're in the Justice Department now. Well, it's an appearance of impropriety to a certain degree. Right. No, I don't think it's lawful. Well, because you can generally fire those people pretty easily, but they do have some protections. Hey, sewing. It's nice. I mean, my sinuses aren't perfect, but they're starting to pick up. Thank you, Mary, for everything you do. Boy, that was an eye opener. I'm looking. I'm like, what's this? What's this? Who's this person? Emily Bovine. I'm like, oh no, Emil Bo. Who's this Emil Bo? Trump's attorney. Well, I think he's trying to negotiate something there. Try to fix it. Right. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Lance. I agree. They're probably going to get their jobs back anyway, but you'll have to pay them if you don't reverse the decision. I think all of them have employment rights. Well, I didn't know it was Trump's attorney that walked into the Justice Department and just started firing them. He had to actually recuse. Again, you beat recuse a couple times, but right. 100%. He's not allowed to fire the agents and attorneys that sat against him in court. Right. I agree, Larry. Well, I think the best way out of it is for the FBI Association to meet with whoever, representatives of the Justice Department, or even, I don't know, I guess that'd be because I think the attorneys right, have say in getting their job back also. Well, because again, it's one thing to sit in like this political thing, and it's another thing to sit in the court and say it. Well, you're not going in front of Judge Cannon, I'll tell you that. Correct. I agree there. So I think you just have a meeting and say that there was a negotiation that was made, and that's it. Like Large. Like Larry. And if they'll accept that, and not sue you. Like Larry. I mean, generally, the government works like that.
Don't make no sense. Hey, girl.
Looking through the reels and stuff. Yeah, I'll stay online as long as I'm awake. Torment you all with the fact that I'm here. Oh, I'm glad it was nice. So yesterday the sinuses just got horrible. Although I think there's like outdoor allergens out there now. What's this person, please? God bless you. God bless you all too. Now you gotta make sure the OPM's online. I don't know what Musk's doing there. Now, if you pay somebody on leave because they took a 2-day course, that's going to screw you too, whether it's DEI or not, right? Well, again, pattern and practice. I mean, you just got these people are. I mean, when a 2-day, some people just take a 2-day course because it looks good for their package for promotion. Right. Well, part of it, employment law, anti-discrimination. I mean, the opposite of DEI for you should not be discrimination. I mean, you're not saying that you should discriminate, right?
Correct.
Well, people take 2-day courses, not even caring what they're about. Because, I don't know if it was a resident, I was in Baltimore. I brought up that course where the aide to the congressman and senator, he was in my COTAR course. I go there, it's time away from the office, right? Again, I mean, oh no, Elon's going to get me. No, it's nice. You go to a course, you get trained, and then you go back home. Yeah, right. It was contracting officer's technical representative course. I make sure the contract people that it meets the contract, right, to work. Try what you're saying about this. You're attacking Hegseth here. Right. Right, you shouldn't have said anything at that point. I mean, it could be that she was getting favoritism because, whatever it was, right? But we don't know that yet, right? Well, I think the way to explain it is it doesn't matter if you're a white male. Doesn't matter, again, you're saying that, but tell them white males also. Again, DEI is kind of baggage right now. Right. So, and meritocracy is just, it sounds, you're parroting. It sounds goofy. So kind of explain it to people that we believe, even if you're a white male, even if you're somebody of color, we believe they were using those programs to appoint people that weren't qualified. And you could even say that there are people that are fitting the description of DEI, but they weren't, and they're the best qualified, but we don't believe they got the job either. Like it was just a scam. Right. Possible. Probably. Right. Well, I don't know. She worked in the, it's not that she's a woman as much as that she worked in the Biden White House. Right. So what is it? Why was she there? Did she qualify? I mean, she could be a good pilot, but again, in Me Too cases, again, I approach her as a Me Too because she's just a victim, really. I mean, I would think she could be a Mata Hari maybe, but right. Okay, so I ended up in the Hunt first right away. Bravo Company's Region 6 Engineer Battalion. Great assignment. Great assignment. So again, what she's got is a great assignment, but how did it happen? Figure it out. I mean, maybe it's nothing to it, but maybe there's something there. Right. Okay, she's a social aide in the White House. How did that come about? She was with Ralph Lauren to the White House as he was made. Maybe, she's just one of the pilots and they were being nice. I don't know. Again, I don't think she'd. I mean, the way to approach it, again, if you don't find anything, you don't find anything. But you're not going to don't drag her through the mud. Drag the system through the mud that put her in a position maybe that she wasn't qualified for. Or maybe she's qualified based upon the standards that we have today, and those standards need to change. Right? Or the flight path needs to change. Again, there's so many different things there. Thank you much. Well, you need to clarify DEI and not use don't use the term constantly DEI or meritocracy. Yeah, you did explain it a little bit there. Just kind of put it out there that you believe these type of programs are being used to put unqualified people in, and you're sure that white heterosexual males were put in that weren't qualified also. Right. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Again, I mean, that's the deep state. That's how they do it. I can't believe you did that. You could have waited for Bondi or I don't know. It's just insane. Right. Any case he brings is going to be tainted. Yeah, try to get a judgeship somewhere, Bondi. Get out of there. I believe in her work, so I would hope she would get in there, but. Okay, so they don't have security clearances. Right. Yeah, but I think USA it's a platform for other people. Right. Now it's yeah. Now, Radcliffe needs to look at that, and that may be what they were talking about. USA does intelligence work. They're related to Radcliffe and his work. If you didn't know that, you're pretty ignorant. There's only so many ways that we can do this. Government aid to other nations is one way to do it. Correct. They told you intelligence reports. Well, it's stuff that goes to CIA. I even told you before. I said that like a few years ago or something. No, that's an USAID is part of our intelligence mechanisms. You may have a political problem with it, but it's kind of it's a cover. Because you can't go in as the State Department as easy as you can USAID and do what they need to do. Right. No, they already know. They already said their intelligence reports. Right. Well, they're generally, I believe, their intelligence. I mean, it might go to state, but I think does it go right to? I don't know if it goes right to CIA or the State Department or where. Right. No, these are mechanisms we use for some other things. Yeah, I don't know who those people are, but it was important for something. Well, again, it's kind of ludicrous if you say, for people, you go DEI, DEI, and then Mr. Grinnell and Kristi Noem and some of the other people. Right. No, nobody, they didn't know. Well, I guess they didn't, right? I don't know, because I don't know, I don't know what to do at this point. You maybe want to create something else down the road. And then use that. So close it down and then start something else. Like you have to do it with, I don't even know what to tell you. I mean, I don't know if you can, I think they're burnt. I mean, they were, right. I mean, they did say that there was intelligence reports. Yeah, you can't use them for that stuff now. I don't think so. Maybe it's best shut them down and then start something else, and then use something else. I mean, generally, it wasn't the big. It wasn't like USA doesn't really give us much intelligence on Russians or something like that. Right? It's usually somebody that can't think through it, right? Like ISIS or Al Qaeda or other things. Right? Thank you, Larry. Well, it's probably not because they already said intelligence reports in the news. Right. Well, I just close it down and open it up somewhere else. Maybe even NGO. Yes, maybe time to go NGO. Again, the government could fund NGO, right, if it wanted to do it. Right, 100%. Well, Russians know that already, so right. It's just smaller entities that don't think about it, right, generally, or smaller governments and things. Well, maybe, as far as from the intelligence perspective, it might be better just to close it down and then open it up somewhere else. Thank you, Larry. Well, they're saying the State Department could pick it up. The only way the State Department could pick it up is if we use NGOs, I believe. So they can manage it out of the State Department. But again, it's a contract, which again might cost. I think they use contracts now too. Just haven't looked at it in a long time. Let's just get out here. Yeah, it's a lot of employees, right? Well, yeah, in a lot of these countries, and well, the idea is we would send our NGOs in. Right. Can't trust NGOs in some of these countries. Well, their work again. It can be used as a civil affairs program, right? So again, there's other reasons that they exist. I mean, it is rather large, and right, I'm not sure what all the mission has become. Well, there's actually uh, no way to say this. There's geopolitical reasons that they exist. Thank you, March. Like it advances something we need, other than taking care of people. Again, I posted it before. See if I can find it. Thank you, March. Let me see here. It's on X, but I think I have it here. Let me see if I can upload it. All right. This is, here, this is best statement probably. PSYOP offers Joint Force commanders unmatched abilities to influence target audiences, as well as strategic influence capabilities to U.S. diplomacy. Again, I probably need to put them somewhere. Well, they're burned anyway. I'd close it down and open something else. And I know you're probably out there several places. So. Probably been burnt. Thank you, Larry.